The other guy who got Trump's boot in his backside was our old friend Jim. Look at me, I'm Jim Acosta. So I have to talk about this because there's a couple of different things that are going on here. Let's play again this confrontation. We cut it back a little bit. We played the whole thing last time, but here is Acosta asking what he thinks is an interesting question.
I wanted to challenge you on one of the statements that you made in the tail end of the campaign in the midterms.
Here we go.
If you don't mind, Mr. President, that this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, the caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President,
that's enough.
I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President,
that's enough.
Mr. President,
I'll tell you what. CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN.
So that's an extraordinary confrontation between the press. Obviously, these are extraordinary times. Let's start with the idea that he laid hands on the young woman, the aide, who was reaching for the microphone to take it away because the president of the United States had told Acosta that he was done. He had his question. Trump answered the question, and it was done. Sarah Sanders tweeted out this conduct. So basically his hard White House pass, he's been denied access to the White House. It's been suspended. I don't know for how long, but he was punished for his behavior. And Sarah Sanders tweeted out, this conduct is absolutely unacceptable. It is also completely disrespectful to the reporter's colleagues not to allow them an opportunity to ask a question. President Trump has given the press more access than any president in history. That is true. And she also said that it was wrong for him to lay hands on this young woman. It was wrong for him to lay hands on this woman. So now a debate starts up. Did he lay hands on this woman? And the White House tweeted out a slowed down version, close-up of him brushing her arm away. Now, he said, "Pardon me, ma'am," afterwards. Now, I don't know what's in Jim Acosta's mind, and I'm not gonna beat the drum about, I mean, he didn't assault her, obviously, but he did chop her hand away. It looks to me, I've now watched this thing maybe 15 times. It looks to me pretty clearly that he chops her hand away. Now, maybe he did it by accident, maybe he did it by reflex. And also, she's a big girl in a big girl's profession. This is part of the game, like he didn't like punch her, he didn't shove her, he didn't do anything like this. So, Acosta is a buffoon and he's kind of a thug. I mean, he is kind of a jerk. And what he did to her was part of his jerkiness. But I'm not going to accuse him of assaulting a female. I think we've gotten too far with this stuff. And again, when you're working in the bigs, things get a little bit rough. But he was totally out of line. To me, the important thing is he was not practicing journalism. Donald Trump in that exchange is 100% in the right. The question, I said this yesterday, but it's worth repeating because I want to show you something, two amazing other things. The question that he asked, they keep saying, well, the president has to be ready for hard questions. He didn't ask a hard question. He said, you say it's an invasion, I say it's not. And Trump quite rightly said, we have a difference of opinion. What is the importance of Jim Acosta's opinion? He's a reporter. His opinion matters exactly 0%. And this is, in essence, the entire problem. That Jim Acosta thinks his job is to correct the president's opinion with his own. That's not journalism. It's not even smart. He's not some kind of expert. He's not saying, well, there was this and you didn't call it an invasion then, or is that, and all he's doing is saying, you're wrong and I'm right because I'm Jim Acosta, so look at me. The thing is, I'm absolutely certain that Acosta is basing his journalistic career, he thinks that he is going to be Sam Donaldson or Dan Rather. And the thing about Sam Donaldson and Dan Rather, first of all, ended his career in disgrace when it was shown that he was peddling fake documents in an attempt to get George W. Bush on nothing, on some stupid little violation of regulations when he was in the National Guard that would have meant nothing. It was years and years and years ago. It just would have been completely unimportant. And yet he so hated him. He so hated him. He disgraced himself, ended his professional career. And you can have Robert Redford play him in the movies all you want. He still is a bad journalist who disgraced himself. And Donaldson, too, was an opinion journalist as well. And when he went after Nixon, he was doing it for his opinion too. So in other words, Jim Acosta is a bad version of bad journalism that the left has been elevating all this time. And if you want to see, I mean, here is Jake Tapper, yesterday, I think it was, I praised Jake Tapper for asking tough questions. Maybe it was the day before. But Tapper is, the two of them preening in this moment. And I'm going to show you something after this that just puts everything they say in this to shame. But let's play this first.
But President Trump did something that I've never seen an American president do, which is go on a personal rant against you for the questions you were attempting to ask.
Well, Jake, when they go low, we keep doing our jobs. I mean, that's the way I look at it. And, I had a question to ask. And if we had played the tape a little bit before that exchange, you would have seen the question that I was asking, which was essentially about this lie that he told before the midterm elections, that this caravan of migrants moving from Central America to the U.S. border with Mexico is somehow an invasion when it's not. They're still hundreds of miles away and they pose nothing of a threat to the United States. But the president used that language, obviously, as we've talked about so many times, to galvanize his base. He just didn't like hearing that question. He didn't like being challenged on that point. And he certainly doesn't like being called out for his falsehoods.
Not a falsehood. It's a different characterization. There's no falsehood involved. And this thing that they've come up with is still hundreds of miles away. It's still hundreds. I mean, look, at this point, the caravan is all broken up and kind of disappeared and dissipated. But to say that it's 100 miles away, that means nothing. To say it's not a threat, on what basis are you saying that? On what basis are you saying that thousands of people, at one point it was close to 15,000 people, marching this way is not a threat? There are hundreds of miles. This is like when Alexander the Great invaded Greece. They were going, well, maybe he won't come this way. Maybe he won't come down and attack. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? They're hundreds of miles away. If the army, if a foreign invasion force was hundreds of miles away rolling in this direction, would that not be a threat? Jim Acosta is entitled to his opinion. I just don't want to hear it, and I don't know why we should. I don't know why we should. And Jake Tapper, his dainty shock that a reporter should get the boot the way Acosta got the boot, is not in keeping with the reaction of the press corps to Barack Obama. Remember Saint Barack Obama, the savior of our nation, who treated someone shouting rude questions at him like this, had him thrown out. But the incredible part of this video, the incredible part, and you have to listen to the end, is the reaction of the press corps. What you hear in the background is the press corps reacting to President Barack Obama throwing out a rude questioner.
Civil rights of LGBT Americans is... Yeah, hold on a second. Okay, you know what? No. Hey. Yeah, listen, you're in my house. Come on. It's not, you know what? It's not respectful when you get invited to somebody. You're not gonna get a good response from me by interrupting me like this. I'm sorry. No. Shame on you. You shouldn't be doing this. Come on. Can we escort this person out? Come on.
Are you freaking kidding me? Members of the press, this is why we hate you. We hate you because you lie. We hate you because you lie. You lied to us for 8 years. You treated this guy, Obama, like he was heaven sent. Look, I think he was an incompetent and a leftist. And I think both those things are bad for a president. I've always said, I don't think he was evil. I think he was ignorant. I think he was one of those guys who doesn't know what he doesn't know. And I think his policy, he ran dishonestly. He ran as a centrist and he became a leftist. He basically tried to intersectionalize the country. I think he has failed. I think it's amazing the way Donald Trump has erased his memory. We can barely remember what he stood for or what he did. It's almost all gone except for this awful wreckage of Obamacare that keeps dragging us down. It's like a can tied to a dog's tail. But this is why we hate you. It's not because of what you do to Trump. If you had done it to Obama too, we might still think, oh, you're rude, but at least you'd be treating everybody the same way. You are liars. And when Trump says you're the enemy of the people, that may be over the top, but you're certainly the enemy of the president. You are certainly the enemy of conservatives. You're certainly the enemy of traditional Americanism, and you're certainly the enemy of the Republican Party. And everything Trump is doing, the best thing he's doing is attacking you because you deserve it for that, what you did with Obama. It's not what you do to Trump. Torment the president all you want. What do they say? Make the afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted. Fine, but you didn't do it. 8 years, you didn't do it. And now you're saying, oh, can we be journalists again? No, you can't. Now you're just partisans. Now you're just commentators and you're liars. And that's why we hate you. And you deserve it. You've earned it. You went out and you got it yourself. Good for you. And you're still doing it.